there. Well, the citizenship saga has cleared the way for the youngest ever senator to enter the upper house. Jordon SteeleJohn from WA will replace Greens co-deputy leader Scott Ludlum. The disability advocate has cerebral palsy and hopes to bring a fresh perspective to policy. He joins me now from Canberra. Senator, congratulations to your appointment to the Senate.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Wonderful to be with you.
Fabulous. Now, look, you survived your first day in the Senate, unlike one of your other counterparts today who was also newly elected. How did it all play out today?
Oh, well, it isn't every day that you are sworn in by the Governor-General and then your first act is to elect the President of the chamber you're serving in. But I guess those are the crazy times in which we live.
And, of course, the citizenship register needed to be, it was before the Senate today?
Yes, it was. And look, I can only describe it as a mess. I arrived here in Canberra last week, and since then MPs have been dropping like flies. And the key theme throughout the whole thing has been a shocking lack of leadership from the government on these issues. What
do you make of the Fraser Anning situation?
Oh, I think it's quite surprising, Catherine. He was sworn in just before myself, and I did wonder what the presence of Senator Linehelm and Senator Bernardi escorting him into the chamber meant, and I guess now we know.
Look, you're, as we said before, the first person with a disability in the Senate and also the youngest. You say that you will be bringing a lived experience to Parliament. Which causes will you champion and how do you propose to effect change?
Well, you're quite right, Catherine. I am the youngest person ever to be elected to the Senate, and I do hope to bring that voice into our legislative process. As somebody who, until this week, wasn't an elected official and have a lived experience of what it is like to be a young person in contemporary Australia, my message is this. From issues such as the housing crisis, to climate change, to youth unemployment, the young people of Australia are not getting what we need from our Parliament. We deserve a new deal. We desperately need our politicians to take urgent action to address our issues, and that is what I am so looking forward to working on during my time in this chamber.
Now, you've been quoted as saying that disability is created by society, not a medical condition. How do you propose to bring people around to that idea?
Well, it's quite funny, actually, Catherine. The social model of disability, which is what I was explaining there, is actually a really common and quite accepted form of policy discourse almost everywhere else except Australia. We're quite late to the game on this one. The central thrust of it is that that disability is something which is created when society fails to account for everybody's differing levels of ability. And it is in that failure and subsequent discrimination that disability is created. But the solution, therefore, is quite clear, and though it requires a lot of work, is actually quite easy in some respects. It is to elevate the voices of people with a lived experience of disability, to recognise us as equal citizens to everybody else in this country, and to make sure that we have the same opportunities to live a fulfilling life.
Do you think, though, that you will have different challenges in your time ahead in the Senate?
I expect so. As both a young person and a person with a disability, I kind of occupy the intersection of many of our society's most ingrained myths and most kind of challenging preconceived ideas. So I've no doubt that there will be things to rise to along the way. But whatever I face here will be nothing compared to what my fellow Australians face in the community. And those are the experiences that I'm wanting to focus on. I really want to make sure that those voices are heard and that those issues are acted on with urgency.
So Scott Ludlum's advice to you, I believe, listening to a radio interview that you conducted, was that it's a crazy place, the Senate, but it's a place where you can do some good. What's top of your agenda in doing good?
I mean, look, that was his advice, and I think it's very wise advice. I come from WA, and specifically I come from the lower South Metropolitan region of WA. One of the top issues for us there is youth unemployment. We have a very high level of youth unemployment in WA and in my area, and also a very high level of homelessness, where over 200 people are homeless just in my local suburb alone, in Rockingham. And so what I want to focus on in my time in the Senate is the way in which we can address those issues through a jobs-rich transition to the renewable economy.
Just before I let you go, Senator Jordon SteeleJohn, I just have to ask you, you obviously have renounced your British citizenship. For someone who's hearing your accent there?
Yes. As I said the other day at the old press conference, I don't think anybody with my accent could ever get away with not having renounced their citizenship. I sound like a bit of an old Dick Van Dyke commercial, I do know that. But yes, it's all been done, T's crossed and I's dotted.
OK. Senator Jordon SteeleJohn, many thanks for your time today and congratulations again.
Thank you so much, Catherine.